Hey folks, how you doing? Alpaglisi Trains. As promised, I wanted to give you an update video. I did a release on an interesting Camelback locomotive that we were running on the Erie Railroad on Howard's layout yesterday, with some escapades of the locomotive running, which were pretty humorous. And I wanted to talk to Howard a little bit about the locomotive, because come to find out, it is not a fantasy locomotive, and it has a very fascinating story behind it. So let me get you with Howard and let's find out more about the locomotive. Well, folks, before I talk to Howard here, this is the locomotive that I'm talking about. You saw him this morning running on the channel and its escapades. It was pretty fun to do. It is not a fantasy locomotive. So, Howard, how you doing today?
You've got to be kidding me, Al. It's a Saturday afternoon and I'm surrounded with thousands and thousands of choo-choos. What the hell could be better than that? Not a damn thing I could think of.
And you're in your Takaka-mobile.
Oh, it's an Alta Cockmobile.
Alta
Cock. It's Alta.
Alta.
It's Yiddish for old fart.
Oh, yes, I love it.
It's a Yiddish word.
And today we have the New Jersey Central Railroad on your vehicle here. Tell us what's going on with that.
Well, it's not a fantasy piece, as you mentioned. This is a model of the Erie Class L1 0880.
Okay.
That was done in the turn of the 20th century, early 20th century. I think they built 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not a railroad historian, but I'm quite familiar with the piece because I have the Overland model, and I used to have I still have the custom brass. And this model was built probably 20 to 30 years prior to custom brass doing theirs. Mm-hmm. It's all scratch built out of brass, and compared to the custom brass version, which I have downstairs, mm-hmm. This beats it. It's a work of art. Wow. I don't know how to put a price on it because it's an individual piece. Well, so it's a one of a kind.
And we've already got it sold, folks. So that one's already been spoken for. But it's absolutely beautiful, and I just wanted to let the world know that it is not a fantasy piece. That it really did have a prototype behind it.
Yes, Al, I acquired that in a collection of when I was an avid brass dealer 20 years ago. I used to own the Piermont division, which I sold to Dan Glazier, which is now BrassTrains.com. That was my business. I would buy collections, and this was in the bottom of one collection. There were other custom pieces, which some of the models I have still have downstairs. We'll talk about that someday. And they were great. I don't know who built these. The builder apparently was pretty well known at the time. Now remember, I'm from a different generation. I'm 85 years old, and a lot of my generations are going up in these damn Alta Cockmobiles.
Right.
And I'm not complaining. It is what it is. I'm so happy as a pig in mud.
Right.
Anyhow, this was there, and I knew it. I just fell in love with it. And then, of course, I don't want to run it because it was a one of a piece work of art, even though it ran beautifully. Right. So I bought the custom brass one, which was like $600 back in the early 80s when it came out.
Wow.
Then as a dealer, I wound up with several Overland versions, which I sold. I like the custom brass one better, even though Overland used Ogden to build most of their stuff, and it was a good piece. This was built by Da Young. I mean, the custom brass version. Okay. I think it was Da Young. I'm not sure. Or Dongjin.
Well, let's talk about the What If series cars here that we have here, Howard. Let's grab first of all, let's grab the car that was in the video. Okay. Let me give it to you here. This was the car in the video this morning, and you had a cow. You corrected me on this.
Well, it's I had a small cow. Yeah, I started moving this morning. This is not a one of a kind series. Okay. This was the 3rd model I ever built when I was in the service, and I had a bull crap job which I hated temporarily. And I used to build these in my desk drawer. And if somebody of higher rank came in, which was just about the whole friggin' army, I'd close the drawer and, hey, how are you? And all kind of stuff. Well, this is I built this during that period.
Let me take it. Man,
so I think it's number 3, actually. The first one I built was Northern Pacific boxcar by, I think it was Silver Streak, I'm sorry, which I still have downstairs.
Wow. This thing is just beautiful.
No, it was beautiful. Matter of fact, I was really excited with the underbody. It had a sill here, and it had these members here, the cross pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and it had, wow, an air tank. This is super cool.
Wow.
And that was it for the time. This is
Now,
1963.
Let's talk about your what-if cars.
Now, the what-if cars are a little bit different. We picked these up because these are similar. This is Sans Cupola, but these are all scratch-built from basswood. There is no plastic anywhere. All the trucks are metal, and all the couplers are KD number 5s. They all have underbody detail, crew figures, some interior detailing. And they run beautifully. Of course, it has to run well, I guess.
And let's grab, we had, here, let me give you this one here. Let's talk
this is a little bit longer. This is a 80-footer. Again, this is a detail for the Detroit, and DTI, Detroit and Ironton, I think is the railroad, I'm not sure. The decals are good. They all come from, what the hell, K4 Decal Company.
Okay.
They're online, and their decals are probably the best I've ever used.
Wow.
So I have to give them a plug. Now, these trucks are Central Valley. It has all underbody detail.
Uh-huh.
Now, everything, Al, that I build is signed. The best way I can sign it, which is a little plaque, says, what the hell is it? Howard Zane, custom built by Howard Zane.
Right, let me,
I can't read it.
yeah, let me grab this.
Anyhow, it has Howard Zane on it.
Yeah, there's the name there, folks. The camera's having a little bit of, there it goes. And these things are packed with Preisner high-end figures too, Howard.
Oh yeah, so you take a Preisner figure and you put weathering on it, it brings out all the details. And if you look at these closely, you see how lovely those figures are.
Yeah.
Here, I added these later to this car here.
Right, look at these
Take a look
guys.
at these.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
Nice
fine.
weathered people.
Now a lot of folks buy these figures that come from China. Well, let's put it this way: you get what you pay for.
Right.
Price of figures are $2 a piece, and if I went to $4 a piece, I'd still buy them.
Here you go, Howard. And these again are one of a kind.
Yes.
And these sell for $2.95
The
each.
large ones are $2.95. Here's one I did up for Central Jersey with 6-wheel trucks.
Oh wow.
And again, signed with underbody detail. Here's the signature here. Oh, I'm sorry. It says Howard Zane and has a serial number.
Oh wow. And these are what, 85, 90 footers?
80 footers.
And they never made these, but that's
Oh no, but they could have.
they could have, and that's what this is all about,
Yeah.
folks.
Now this is a baggage car which converted to a work car.
Right.
Now the difference between a regular baggage car, 2-door or 4-door baggage car, is I added vestibules on them.
Right. That is really neat.
Now I think it looks great with the vestibules, and other people agree with that. But did the Erie or Central Jersey ever have this? Probably not.
Right.
But then again, the hobby is about, to me, in my generation, limitless imagination.
And
We all came from the John Allen era, which was the epitome of limitless imagination. And now people seem to want a model prototype and do exactly the way the prototype was. Hell, I know a fella, he's 2 generations past me, that's modeling Troy, New York to Albany, New York, small section. But everything is completely accurate, including the buildings. And that's what he wants to do. It isn't me, but then again, if he's enjoying that, the hobby is about having fun.
right.
With a capital F-U-N.
Right.
And that's what it's about.
And that's what these cars are about, folks. Let's again, the big ones are $295 each.
Yeah, that's the most, Andy. This is a similar car. This is a little shorter. That's a 70-footer. That's
Wow.
the Central Jersey weathered.
Man, that's cool.
Again, with the vestibules.
And these are all wood.
Oh, yeah, everything I do is wood. No plastic. Now, there was a period I was using styrene, but it just wasn't me.
Right.
This is the Erie car.
Oh man.
Now, these have also interior details. Take a look at the side. With people.
Oh yeah.
They all have people. Any passenger car I build, or work car, or it has windows in it, will have people.
And these are the good Preisner people.
Some are, some aren't. Some are Preisner, some are Merton. But I don't use the Chinese figures.
Right. Holy cow. Folks, if you're interested in any of those What If series cars, contact me at alpug1@verizon.net.
Well, we can show a typical, up there, Al, there's a typical box car.
All right.
Now, the cheapest things I do are the flight cars, which I have several. They're around 75 a piece.
Okay.
Gondolas are around 80 a piece.
Okay.
And they're all heavily weighted. Each one of these cars weighs a ton. You could actually, work out with this.
Right, right.
It's that heavy. And but again, with Central Valley trucks, lubricated up properly, they will run beautifully. An 040 can pull this up a hill.
Right, right. And I just want to show this little guy here, this Fantasy New York Central. These are about
that's 225.
Okay, man, look at that.
It's I just couldn't charge as much. Actually, I probably have as much time building that as the others, but it's small.
Right.
Then again, I don't really care that much about the money. I don't want to give these away because it's unfair to other people who custom build this stuff.
Right.
So I have to come up with a fair price.
Right. Yeah, they're really.
I am open to offers, and I do bundle if people want to buy a mess of these.
Well, let me go over to this wall of cars here. There's so many folks, and again, if you're looking for a particular.
How big is some of the box cars?
Yeah, I'm going to grab.
There's probably hundreds of box cars, and they're 95 a piece. Whether it's 40 foot or 50 doesn't make any difference.
All right, let me pause this, Howard, and we'll look at some of these box cars.
You can.
Well, folks, this is a typical, they all come boxed, Howard Zane Customs. They all have a picture of the car on them. And like I say, you say the little ones are about 95 a piece, Howard?
That's correct.
Yeah. This one is one of my favorites.
This
I want to show you this thing. The pretty young lady on there. Oh boy. All right.
Oh, the pretty young lady.
I like this one.
Oh, you're a deviated prevert.
I just love it. Look at that. Man, that is pretty.
Now, this is obviously a 36-foot reefer. Now, these decals I found online, but the lady's taking a bath.
Right, wow.
And now she could see her better before I weathered it. Sandy was happier after I weathered it, she said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my wife would be a little annoyed. She'll make me put her on there. But, these are beautiful, folks. And interesting conversation pieces. Beautiful. Look at the undercarriage detail on this thing. These are 95, Howard, for these?
Yes.
All right.
Any type of reefer box car.
And let's look at one you've got.
This one here, this is, I would call that heavily weathered. Again, all the decals come from K4 Decal Company. Now this one's got of course, they all have underbody detail. This one here, the sides came from Tichy. I mean, the ends, I'm sorry, not the ends. And the doors are also Tichy. Some of the doors in some of these cars I scratch built. But Tichy has some very good parts that are great for scratch building. And I heartily recommend them.
Yes. And we will be featuring a lot more of these cars as
we got hundreds of them. I'm sorry I talked over you.
No, that's all right. We'll be featuring quite a few of these cars on the channel, folks. So, again, if you're interested in any of this, contact me at alpug1@verizon.net. My link is below in the email. And we're going to be featuring a lot of these cars, taking them out of the boxes and showing them to you. And they all have their own little story, don't they, Howard?
Yes. One thing I should add. I used to do the train shows. Obviously, I own the train show or co-own the train show. I came down with a back condition that is, it's a bitch. And I'm in a walker right now. So I can't do shows and I can't display these. So nobody knows I have these. However, I have sold 138 to visitors that come here.
Wow.
And that's not a bad record. But again, they have never been displayed, which is something you may want to do. Take these to a show and see if you can sell them. It's the type of person that would buy it in today's generation. Well, I don't know if they would understand it because they're into copying, they're into operation, and they're into electronics. And of course, everything's proto. And it's the plastic world, the world of plastic. I despise plastic beyond belief. I have nothing in plastic on the layout except for a few tank cars, which I'm trying to scratch build. I was just getting into scratch building tank cars when I started doing this O-scale structure commission, which is an 8-month job.
Right.
Which we've been working with me on it.
Right. Well, Howard, I really appreciate this, and there'll be a lot more on the channel. Thanks so much, Howard.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Alan. Thank you.